You know that feeling, right? When a piece of your tech just gives up on you. A speaker that starts buzzing out of nowhere, a system that crashes for no reason, a connection that just mysteriously drops. It's maddening. And it turns out, it's often a sign of an unseen threat. So today, we're going on a hunt for this invisible culprit.
So, where are we getting our intel? We're going straight to the experts. This is the first of a 10-part explainer, where we'll be digging into a super detailed report by a group called RFI Detectives, who are part of Virtualization Options LLC. We're going to break it down chapter by chapter, almost like we're working a case.
Let's really start right there, with that feeling. You know, your device is working perfectly 1 minute, and the next, it just glitches. It feels totally random, doesn't it? But what if it's not? What if there's something invisible that's actively messing with your tech? Okay, so we're treating this whole thing like a detective story. Our mission is to trace the source of these strange, mysterious electronic failures. And the really cool part? The clues are literally all around us. They're just hidden in plain sight. We just have to learn how to see them.
And we're not just talking about small annoyances here. Think bigger. Yeah, it could be the buzzing in your speakers, but it could also be a critical production line grinding to a halt in a factory, or your smart home devices that just keep disconnecting. These aren't just one-off events. They're all symptoms of a much bigger, invisible problem.
So it's time. Time to pull back the curtain and unmask our prime suspect. The culprit behind all this electronic chaos, well, it has a name. Radio frequency interference. You'll hear it called RFI for short. The RFI Detectives report defines it really simply. RFI is just unwanted electromagnetic energy that gets into a device and causes trouble. You can think of it like electronic noise pollution. And believe me, it is everywhere.
Okay, this right here, this is the big aha moment. Your thermostat, a sensor on a factory floor, even a hospital infusion pump. None of these things are supposed to be radios, right? But the wires and the circuits deep inside them, they can act just like accidental antennas, just sitting there picking up stray energy from the air.
So if these circuits are antennas, where's the crime scene? Well, it's not one specific place. It's the very air all around us. And that crime scene is getting more crowded and a whole lot more chaotic every single day.
Just take a second and think about all the devices in your home or your office that are constantly transmitting signals. You've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cell signals, two-way radios, even your microwave oven. Our modern world is absolutely saturated with radio frequency energy.
Now here's the real kicker. The amount of this background RF energy, this ambient noise, is just astronomically higher than it was just a couple of decades ago. We are literally swimming in an invisible sea of signals, and that creates a brand new challenge for all our technology.
Okay, so we've surveyed the crime scene. Now it's time to bring in the usual suspects. The sources of all this RFI, they really fall into two main categories, and knowing the difference is key to cracking the case.
So, first up, you have your intentional emitters. These are the obvious ones. Things like your Wi-Fi router or a walkie-talkie, devices that are designed to transmit signals. But then you have the unintentional emitters. These are the sneakier culprits. Things like a cheap power adapter or an LED dimmer switch that are just creating a whole mess of RF noise as a side effect.
Here's a perfect example of an intentional emitter causing trouble. You key up a walkie-talkie near a baby monitor and you get that classic buzzing sound. What's happening is the monitor's little audio circuit is just getting totally overwhelmed by the powerful radio signal, and it translates it into that annoying noise.
And on the flip side, for an unintentional emitter, just imagine a really cheap USB charger. It's not supposed to be a radio transmitter, but its poorly made internal parts can spew out so much electronic junk noise that it could literally knock your smart home hub offline. So what we have is a situation where not only is the RF energy around us exploding, but at the exact same time, our devices are becoming more vulnerable to it. It's a total perfect storm. And the RFI Detectives report points to 4 main reasons why this is happening.
First, as we've already covered, there are just way more sources of RFI out there than ever before. Second, our modern circuits are actually more sensitive. They operate on lower voltages, so it's easier to disrupt them. Third, in the race to cut costs, manufacturers are often skimping on proper shielding. And finally, we're packing all of our tech closer and closer together, which just makes the interference problem worse. It really is a recipe for disaster.
All right, let's take a breath and review our case file. We've identified our main culprit, and we've surveyed the crime scene. So what are the big takeaways from our investigation so far?
Here's the rundown. Our culprit is radio frequency interference. The most important thing to remember is that any circuit can become an accidental antenna. The crime scene is our modern RF-saturated world. Our suspects are both the things that are supposed to make radio signals and the things that aren't. And the motive? It's this dangerous combination of more sources and more vulnerable devices.
So, we've unmasked our culprit. We know its name, we know what it does. But the real mystery is just getting started. How does this invisible intruder actually get inside our devices to cause all this havoc? That's what we'll be investigating in the next part of this series. You are not going to want to miss it.